Today's topic is solubility equilibria of sparingly soluble salts. We know a salt is a substance which is formed as a result of neutralization of an acid and base. An acid and base react together to form salt and water. And solubility means the amount of the substance that can be dissolved in a suitable amount of solvent at a particular temperature. Solubility is the amount of substance that can be dissolved in a particular amount of solvent at a particular temperature. Okay, so we know that some of the salts are soluble in the solvent, for example, water. Some of the salts are not; they are insoluble in water. Okay, so this, for example, calcium chloride, it's a salt which is soluble, that they are known as hygroscopic in nature. They are known as hygroscopic in nature and even absorb water vapor from atmosphere. That much they are getting reacted with water. Okay, so from the atmosphere itself, can absorb moisture and get reacted or soluble. Okay. Similarly, other salts such as lithium fluoride have so little solubility that they are commonly termed as insoluble. So we can say that in general, a salt sometimes it will be soluble in water. For example, water is example for a universal solvent, or some salts are not. They are insoluble in particular solvent. The solubility depends on number of factors. Among them, the strong factors on which that the solubility of substance depends are: one is lattice enthalpy, and second one is solvation enthalpy. We have studied about lattice enthalpy. Lattice enthalpy of an ionic salt is defined as the energy required to completely separate 1 mole of a solid ionic compound into gaseous constituent ions. Once again, lattice enthalpy of ionic solid is defined as the energy required to completely separate 1 mole of a solid ionic compound into gaseous constituent ions. Okay, and similarly, the solvation enthalpy is the energy released when 1 mole solid is dissolved in a particular solvent. Once again, solvation enthalpy is the energy released when 1 mole of solid is dissolved in a particular solvent. Okay. The amount of solvation enthalpy depends on the nature of the solvent. That is, in the case of a non-polar solvent, solvent enthalpy is so small and not sufficient to overcome the lattice enthalpy of the salt. Consequently, the salt does not dissolve in a non-polar solvent. As a general rule, for a salt to be able to dissolve in a particular solvent, its solvation enthalpy must be greater than that its lattice enthalpy. Okay, what is that? Generally, for a salt to be able to dissolve in a particular solvent, its solvation enthalpy must be greater than its lattice enthalpy. Okay, and each salt has its characteristic solubility which depends upon the temperature. So this is about introduction about solubility. Once again, solubility is the amount of substance that can be dissolved in a particular amount of solvent at a particular temperature to soluble or make it dissolve as a particular dissolve in a particular solvent. That solvation enthalpy must be greater than its lattice enthalpy. And one more thing, salt does not dissolve in non-polar solvent. We classify the salts on the basis of their solubility in the following 3 categories. Category 1: if the solubility of a salt is greater than 0.1 molar, then the salt is said to be soluble in that particular solvent. Once again, the solubility, if it is greater than 0.1 molar, we can say that the substance or the salt is soluble in the solvent. Similarly, if the solubility of the substance is in between 0.01 molar and 0.1 molar, then it is said to be slightly soluble. If it is between 0.01 molar and 0.1 molar, that substance is said to be slightly soluble. If the solubility is smaller than 0.01 molar, 0.01 molar, then we can say that it is a sparingly soluble salt. So on the basis of solubility, we can classify the substance into 3: soluble substance, slightly soluble substances, and sparingly soluble substances. Next topic is solubility product constant. We know the concentration of substance is in a saturated solution is defined as its solubility, and the solubility value depends upon the nature of the solvent and the temperature. We are considering a general reaction of a sparingly soluble salt, that is electrolyte AB. AB is a solid substance, is reversibly gives AB, that is unionized dissolved substances, which will be giving that ions, A plus ions and B minus ions. Applying law of mass action, we can write down as K is equal to molar concentration of product, means molar concentration of A plus into molar concentration of B minus divided by molar concentration of AB. But we know that the solution is saturated, so solution of unionized molecule of the electrolyte will be a constant at a particular temperature, or AB is a solid substance actually, so the concentration of solids will be removed, or it will be taken as constant. So the molar concentration of AB is taken as constant, and that is given as K dash. Okay, so we can write down, we can take that concentration term into the left hand side of the equation, so that we can write down as molar concentration, product of molar concentration of A plus into molar concentration of B minus will be giving us K, it's a constant, into another constant K dash. We know the product of two constant will be new product of two constants will be new constant, that is, it is written as SSP. Instead of that one, it is KSP, and the KSP is known as solubility product. So KSP is known as the solubility product. Once again, there's a mistake. K into K dash is equal to written as SSP. That is, instead of capital letter S, you have to write down K because it's a constant, KSP. So once again, the solubility product can be calculated using the formula A plus into B minus is equal to product of molar concentration of the reactants. That's what is similar to equilibrium constant. So once again, we are considering a general reaction, that is AB reversibly gives A plus plus B minus. We are applying law of mass action, we have learned already before, and we are substituting, and the concentration of the solid substance is taken as constant, so that we will be getting KSP, where KSP is known as the solubility product, and it is defined as the product of concentration of ions in a saturated solution of an electrolyte at a given temperature. Once again, KSP is known as the solubility product, and it is defined as the product of concentration of ions in a saturated solution of electrolyte at a given temperature. Now we are considering a reaction that electrolyte AXBY, it's a general type of equation which will AXBY reversibly gives XAY plus YBX plus. That means interchanging that coefficients, so that KSP for such species can be written as concentration of A ions to the power X into concentration of B ion to the power Y. So we have to use this formula for that finding out the solubility product of different numerical questions, compounds of in numerical questions. Okay, so you have to study this equation, general equation. Next is finding the relationship between the solubility S and the equilibrium constant, that is solubility product. So in the first step, we have to dissociate the electrolyte as AXBY is the electrolyte. It will be dissociate as AXAY plus YBX minus. Step 2, write the solubility of each term, which will be given in the question itself sometimes. So solubility of that reactant will be always capital letter S, and product will be X into S, because X is a stoichiometric coefficient there. Similarly, Y into S, because that stoichiometric coefficient of second term is Y, and write the expression for KSP. KSP is equal to XS to the power X into YS to the power Y, and that solve the equation for KSP is equal to X to the power X into Y to the power Y into S raised to X plus Y. That relation is very simple. So write down that equation. From that one, solubility of each term under that each terms. Then write the expression for KSP, that is solubility product, and solve the equation for KSP. So that KSP is equal to X to the power X into Y to the power Y into S to the power X plus Y. So using this relationship, we can find out the solubility of any one of the substance, or the solubility product of substance can be related to the solubility of the substance using this formula. Using this formula, we'll have to do some numericals also. Next, we are having one question in text question 7.26. Calculate the solubility of A2X3 in pure water, assuming that neither kind of ions react with water. The solubility product of A2X3 is given as 1.1 into 10 raised to minus 23. So what's the first step? You will have to dissociate the product A2X3 as 2A3 plus 3X2 minus, and we are writing that expression for equilibrium KSP solubility product 2s to the power to the power 2, 3s to the power 3. Okay, and that will be that equation which is given as, which is equal to 1.1 into 10 raised to minus 23, and from that we have to solve the equation as quadratic equation, so that we'll be getting s is equal to 1 into 10 raised to minus 5. Once again, do the problem in your notebook. We have not written the second step. We are supposed to write down second step. That means under that each time you have to write down solubility. And so once again you have to do that second step also. Under that each term of reactants and product you are supposed to write down the solubility in terms of S. After that only you have to write down the KSP. KSP is equal to that, and the value is given as 1.1 10 raised to minus 23, and substitute the values and solve the value for S. As mathematics we have learned, in the case of mathematics we have learned last year, and our quadratic equation. Okay, using that method you can find out the value of S. That will be, answer will be equal to 1.10 into 10 raised to minus 5 mole per liter. Next topic is predicting precipitate formation from the value of KSP. At the stage of equilibrium, we can say that KSP is equal to QSP, just similar to what we have learned. Kc and Qc. Qc was reaction coefficient, Kc was equilibrium constant. Just similar to that one, the same type of calculation in other stage other than equilibrium, if you are calculating that, that is known as QSP. If KSP is equal to QSP, then it is known as that reaction is in equilibrium. Similarly, if QSP is greater than KSP, the precipitation will be taking place, or if it is QSP smaller than KSP, no precipitation will be taking place. So when we are doing practicals, that means experiments where the precipitate formation will be taking place or not depends upon the value of KSP. If KSP is smaller than QSP, then precipitation will be taking place, otherwise it will not take place. Okay, so the value of precipitate formation will be taking place in the based on the solubility product. Now we have learned about the precipitation formation or precipitation reaction will be taking place whose values depends upon, or precipitation depends upon the value of equilibrium constant. Here the equilibrium constant in terms of solubility product that we have learned. And the common ion effect is also having an important role for the precipitation of ionic salt. So let's see that let S is the solubility of silver chromate, that is Ag2CrO4, which will be dissociate as Ag plus 2 Ag plus plus Cr2O4 minus. Okay, and the solubility product of this reaction in terms of S is the solubility, we can write down as 2S all square into S, or which is equal to 4S cube. The solubility product can be written as 4S cube. If X mole per liter of AgNO3 is added, more AgNO3 is added to that same reagent, and the solution, okay, if X is mole per liter of AgNO3 is added, and in this solution, the solubility, the new solution we have added AgNO3, which is having same common ion, it's silver ion itself, and that Ag plus ion will be equal to 2S1, and the solubility of the solution is equal to S dash. Then we are substituting that Ag plus ion is equal to 2S1, 2S dash plus X, and that for chromate ion is equal to S dash. And here the new solubility product is equal to, the new solubility product KSP is equal to S dash plus X into S dash, because X is the amount of AgNO3 that we have added. Okay, so AgNO3 is a monoionic, Ag plus ions and NO3 minus ion. And if KSP is very small, we may neglect to S dash against X in equation 2, and KSP is equal to X S dash. So normally we will not have any questions based on this one because it's so much more complicated, but you have to understand like this only. Okay. Based on this, we are having one question in text question 7.28. Calculate the molar solubility of nickel hydroxide in 0.1 molar NaOH. The ionic product of nickel is 2 into 10 raised to minus 15. So we know that nickel hydroxide NaOH twice will be dissociating as Na2 plus 2OH minus, and the solubility we are writing in terms of S. There is S for nickel hydroxide, Na2 plus also it will be S. In the case of OH minus, it will be 2S. Similarly, in the case of NaOH, it will be dissociating as Na plus OH minus ion, whose concentration is given already in the question, 0.1 molar. Since all are monoionic, it will be written as 0.1 molar of NaOH, 0.1 molar of Na plus, and 0.1 molar of OH minus ion. And so the OH minus ion, total OH minus ion concentration will be equal to 2S plus 0.1. And solubility product is given as a 2 into 10 raised to minus 5. Here the ionic product and solubility product both are same, and we are taking that one as ionic product. Okay, and Ksp can be calculated, and as Ksp is very small to us, very smaller than 0.1, we can neglect that term and we'll have to get the value S is equal to 2 into 10 raised to minus 30. But for the exam, such questions will not be there, but it is given in the textbook as one problem that you have to understand how to do. You can do such problems also, but such questions won't be there for the exam. Try to understand this concept and learn that at least one problem, because such problems won't be there for the exam. Okay, so the solubility, such problems won't be there for the exam. So try to understand the concept. That means precipitation formation depends upon that common ion effect and the solubility product. That also you have to understand. Okay, the important point is that precipitation of a salt or precipitation reaction depends upon two factors. One is common ion effect, and another one is solubility product. Okay, our next topic is effect of pH on solubility. Effect of pH on the solubility, and we can say that the solubility of salts of weak acids such as phosphates increases with a decrease in pH, as at a lower pH the anion gets protonated and hence its concentration decreases. That's the important point. Solubility of the salt increases with a decrease in pH, because at a lower pH the anion gets protonated and hence its concentration decreases. For that, consider the following equilibria. Hx reversibly gives H plus and X minus ion. Dissociation constant Ka is equal to, we can write down that one. I have just rearranged the equation so that Ka divided by H plus, which is equal to X minus divided by Hx. On inversing the both sides and adding 1, and we are further solving, we can say that as the pH decreases, F also decreases. F is the term which is equal to, which is given, you can see on the screen. Okay, for F is the one time which is equal to Ka divided by Ka plus H plus, or X minus divided by Hx plus X minus concentration. So we can say that pH decreases, F also decreases. If S is the solubility of the salt at a given pH, then solubility product can be substituted values, and from that he can see that solubility of a salt increases with the increase in hydrogen ion concentration or decrease in pH. So this is the last topic for us, and once again in this chapter we have studied so many different concepts, and the numericals also, very large number of numericals are there. We have done most of the problems but not completely covered, but we have given some homeworks and all. Consider that it's important chapter for the exam, but last topics and all, like solubility products, such questions are not such numericals won't be there for that exam, but other numericals including pH determination will be there for the exam. Okay, we are having some homeworks. The first question in text question 7.27, the values of solubility product of two sparingly soluble salts, nickel hydroxide and AgCN, are given. Which salt is more soluble and why? So find out that which is solubility S. We have studied the relationship between the solubility product as well as that as the relationship between S and Ksp. Using that formula you can find out and which is more soluble and why. That's what the question. Exercise question, next homework is exercise question 7.67. Determine the solubilities of silver chromate, barium chromate, ferric hydroxide, lead chloride, mercurous iodide at 298 Kelvin from their Ksp values. Values are given. So what is that? 5 questions are there, 5 sub questions. Find out the first one. Take the first one, that is a silver chromate, which will be dissolving as the, write down the ionization equation, and what we have to write down in terms of S we can write down. From that you can find out the solubility product. No, in this question solubility product value is given Ksp, and so the value for S. It's a lengthy question. You have to do by yourself, and it will take time also. Okay, five questions are there. Silver chromate, barium chromate, ferric hydroxide, lead chloride, and mercurous iodide. All these compounds, just write down the chemical equation, ionization, and write down that solubility in terms of S for all the reactants and product, and find out the equilibrium, not equilibrium, that solubility product. Next question, exercise question 7.68. The solubility product constant, that is Ksp, of silver chromate and AgBr is given. Calculate the ratio of molarities, that means concentrations they have to identify and find out the value, that ratio they are asking. Okay, so these are the three homeworks I am giving. So try to solve these questions in a notebook and find out the answer. So this was the last topic for us, and in this chapter, as I said, so many topics we have covered. Important topics are equilibrium law of chemical equilibrium, then what relationship between Kp and Kc, and the numericals based on that, then applications of equilibrium constant Kp and Kc that we have learned, then what buffer solutions we have, types of buffer solution, common ion effect, solubility product, then pH. pH is very important, even though you are not knowing how to take the logarithm. For the time being, for the exam, they will be giving the logarithm value for standard 11, 12th. You have to study how to take logarithm, that teachers will be teaching you. So for the time being, you have to do using that logarithm table. Logarithm value will be given in the question, so that it will be easy for you. Similarly, and other topics also we have covered, and all these topics are important, but the numericals based on the last topics in up to pH. Up to pH is very important. After that, you are not bothered about the numericals. Okay, so try to understand. Okay, try to understand that concepts and study well. If you're having any doubts, you have to send personally, message me, so that I will be clarifying your doubts. Okay, and this is the first chapter. We have completed the first chapter, that is step number 7, equilibrium. Next class we will be starting a new chapter for you. Study well. Okay, thank you for watching this video. Prepare study notes and do the homeworks. Thank you.